Welcome to Inside the Wires, hands down, the best podcast in all of racket sports. Listener discretion may be advised for a younger audience.
Got it. We ready?
Yes, sir.
Who's since Ara put a nice intro together, am I introing?
Noah leads the way.
All right.
Eric, the hair looks good, by the way.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
I'm jealous of everyone's hair these
Hey.
days.
Not a lot of people know that I have hair. I'm always wearing a hat out there.
It might be you, Philippe Rams, and Andrew Ong. That's the big three.
Wow.
I can't be in that.
Edwin Lewis has to be up there.
He's
Yeah,
got
he's
some
good.
great flow.
Yeah, for
Edwin.
sure. That's good stuff. All right. All right, let's get started. I'll go. Ready?
Yeah.
Hold on, get my game face. Yes.
All right. Welcome to Inside the Wires. I'm Ben. That's Noah. And we got Ara with us again. Today on the show, we have the #1 Canadian in the game of paddle, Eric West. Just a shout out to myself. I am now the #1 English player in the game of paddle. This right now. Waiting for Jade Curtis to come back to knock me off, but real quick, and I want to send this out to the entire paddle nation. I was in Louisville. How do we say it, Noah? Louisville. I was in Louisville this weekend at Edwin Lewis's Bourbon Bowl, and I got to challenge anyone to find something wrong with Edwin Lewis. Like truly, like I got to tell you, he might be the nicest man. He's got a beautiful family. He's a fantastic head of hair. Like he's just super welcoming. He opens up his house to everyone to come to this tournament. He runs a fantastic tournament. Guy's a freaking scratch golfer. Collegiate tennis at Virginia, is just a badass paddle player. Like there's got to be something wrong with this. Like just a great human being. So I don't think there is anything wrong. There's now my favorite guy in the game of paddle, Edwin Lewis, and everyone needs to go play the Bourbon Bowl. That is just a hands down the best. Ari, you got to come. Hands down, the best paddle tournament of the year. The lunch is off the charts good. The favor, beautiful bottle of bourbon. The dinner in the evening, fantastic. The location at the Louisville Country Club, greatest steam room and shower in the game. Just everyone in Kentucky was so welcoming to have everyone there. Edwin opens up his house which is one of the most beautiful houses you ever see, on a Friday night to all the players to come and have a dinner and drinks and hang out before the tournament. So anyone listening, if you only play one tournament next year, go to Louisville. It just unbelievable. And sorry, I had to go on a rant there because I just got back, and bravo to Edwin Lewis and everyone else in Kentucky for running the best tournament in the game of paddle. And they have the greatest, them in Indianapolis. We did a post. Indianapolis gave an Indy helmet away. I originally called it a NASCAR helmet, and I got yelled at by a couple of people on social media, but it's an Indy helmet. And Louisville does a what do you call it? A barrel, a casket, it's a burnt-in logo on the top of. Oh, it's fantastic. So everyone sign up for Louisville. That's the best tournament of the year.
So doesn't that, when you have stuff like that happen, doesn't that hopefully cause everyone else to kind of raise their game when it comes to tournaments as well?
They should, because Louisville, it wasn't astronomically priced. You get a great favor. You get a dinner the night before the tournament. You get a fantastic lunch. You get a dinner that evening. Like no expense spared. First class all the way. Just
How many teams were the draw?
32. It might have been like 29 or something like that, but it was
Women's draw too.
men's and women's. Yeah,
Yeah.
two taught. Last year was just men's. This year, men's and women's. So I had to give a shout out to Edwin, because truly the nicest guy is, his poor family had to put up with me, Will Lofgren, Randy Lofgren, Tyler Owens, and Ben McKnight staying at his house. Just great guy, great tournament, and everyone needs to play it. So I wanted to touch on that. But so I'm off my rant. Without further ado, we have Mr. Eric West joining the show, fresh off his win from Philly. So we hope you enjoy.
All right, we're back after a big weekend of paddle. Well, big weekend, a lot of things. So Ben was down in Louisville at a paddle tournament. I was in Denver at a paddle tournament. Our guest today, Eric West, was winning a paddle tournament in Philadelphia, and Ara was at a hockey tournament. So everyone had tournaments all around the country today. So Eric, as our special guest, tell us about yourself. I was told that we need to give a better intro for people. So tell us about your background. Who are you? Many people will be surprised to know that you're Canadian. So
I am
Canadian. You're Canadian too? I thought you're South African.
No, I'm surprised he's Canadian.
Oh,
he's
there you
nice.
go.
Canadians are nicer than everyone.
What part of Canada?
Toronto. So just outside of Toronto. But we moved down to the States when I was 12. So, but I still have the Canadian passport. So yeah, big thing, grew up playing tennis when I was young, started when I was 5 years old. So kept on playing tennis when I moved down to Oklahoma. Pretty fortunate, received a scholarship to play at Oklahoma State University. After that, had no idea what I wanted to do. Wanted to be a college tennis coach because I really appreciate everything my college coach did for me. And that's what brought me to Cincinnati, and that's what led me to start playing paddle.
All right, so you missed a few steps there, though. Where you went to Cincinnati, and what'd you do when you got to Cincinnati?
So I was coaching at University of Cincinnati with Eric Toth. I don't know if you guys know Eric Toth, but he plays paddle a little bit. He doesn't play tournaments anymore, but he's still involved in our league play in Cincinnati. So I was his assistant for 4 seasons. And then I moved to Champaign, Illinois, which, 2 hours away from Chicago, and there's no paddle in Champaign.
You just commute up like Christian Shivdasani did.
That's right. I was born there.
Were you really?
Carle Hospital, Champaign, Illinois.
So I got actually Girani's phone number from Rob Bacher, and Rob was like, text him, like he'll try and like hook you up, and he ghosted me. No response back.
No, that sounds right. Yeah, Rob Bacher obviously doesn't know Girani that well. Yeah, sounds right.
So I then coached at Illinois for a year and a half, and then I moved back to Cincinnati to coach at Xavier University. Was only there for 1 season, kind of going through COVID, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and got out of the college coaching game and led to rackets at country clubs. And so now I'm at Hyde Park Country Club. Took over for Heather Prop. So when she retired, I slid into her position, and it's been a great so this is my first year there. It's been fantastic.
That's a great club. And she was there for years, right? She's a legend out and since
forever.
Yeah.
She did such a good job. I'm just keeping the engine running.
Well, so how's that going? Because I always think when you've had someone that's been there a long time, you almost want a shitty pro to come in and fuck it up for a year or two. And then you come in and you look like a savior. Because often everyone gets Heather did it this way, Heather did that. You want someone to come in and screw it up for a year or two, and then
person after Eric's gonna look great.
Well, I did the right thing, and actually, she was my assistant for a couple months until she had just had knee surgery. So she was out for a little bit. And then it was a little, all right, I got it from here. I hope. I mean, but it's the good thing, it's a fantastic membership. Just great people there. I mean, you know, I couldn't be any more fortunate to be at a pretty good spot. So
Nice paddle hut.
It's one of the best. I mean, I
It's a
might be
good one.
biased a little bit, but it's one of the best.
Yeah.
So
And-
so
oh, go
so
ahead.
you've been playing paddle then for how long actually?
So I started January of 2017. So, but when I moved to Champaign, I didn't play for that year and a half. So Eric Toth, so when I was his assistant at UC, he kept it like, because I moved to Cincinnati December 2014, and he'd be like, "Oh, I got a paddle match, and I got a paddle." I'm like, "What the fuck is paddle?" Like you're playing ping pong or like, and he tried telling me what it was, and he showed me a video. I was like, that is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's 20 degrees outside, it's snowing, you guys are standing out there lobbing the ball.
Yep.
Hey, you know what the good news is? You just won a tournament in that stupid sport.
Yeah, this is how I make a living.
So,
So-
are we blaming Girani for the fact that we can't claim you as a Chicago player?
You do.
If he'd have
I
got
mean,
back to you, you may have fallen in love with Chicago, and we could claim you as a Chicago player.
the best was first time I like met Dronny in person was in Detroit, and like you would have thought like I was some homeless person to him. Like he was like, "Who are you? What?" It's like, "Are you helping run this tournament? Or are you in the tournament?"
Don't worry. I've known Girani like 9 or 10 years at this point. He still looks at me the same way.
Yeah, but
He's a
no,
good boy.
we had a good time at Cabin Fever though, hanging out.
Yeah.
with him. So it was good.
He's a good dude.
So so at this point then, do you even play tennis anymore? Have you done that transition where people are like, you know, I don't like tennis, I'm playing paddle and that's it?
With how much teaching of tennis I do in the summer, I'm out. I play, so in Cincinnati, we have a tournament called the Met. So it's the big city championships for both singles and doubles. So I played in it 2 years ago. Will Lofgren and I won the doubles. And then I lost in the singles, and I was like, I'm done playing any competitive tennis whatsoever. So this last year just taught and had a good time, but I think I was really looking forward to just taking over for Heather, and that's when started things up in September. So it was like once Labor Day weekend hit, I put away the tennis rackets. I told everyone, nope, sorry, I'm not teaching another tennis lesson. I'm focusing on paddle now. And no,
so what do you think that is? I mean, obviously Ben's a pro, ours not.
I'm a certified platform tennis instructor, by the way.
No, well, congratulations. You spent your $50, you got your degree.
That's right.
So is that one of those things though, where guys who are obviously high level tennis players, they get to a point where they've kind of hit their apex as far as tennis goes, and yeah, you can compete, but you're probably not going to get meaningfully better. Is that what the appeal of a sport like platform, or dare I say pickleball, is that, I know, is that the appeal where it's a similar enough sport, but yet something that you can get better at, and is that the appeal of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a little bit too a good amount of the high level paddle players that, you know, they play competitive tennis. It's kind of like, it's redundant now. We've done it since we were kids, and
Right.
we did it in high school and juniors and at college, and, you know, some of the fortunate guys pros, and it's kind of like, what's there to do next? You know, and I think that's what really drew me into paddle, was it was so much of, you get to play, you get to experience something new, but in different, it's like just so different from tennis. It's kind of hard to describe sometimes. I was telling my parents, like, what these tournaments are like. And, you know, like they're always about like, well, did you win? Who'd you play against? Did someone hook you? Did someone cheat you? I'm like, no, like,
Yes. Oh,
don't be, well, it depends who you're playing against, but, you know, you don't be surprised if someone's bringing a beer out on the court. Like it's, I think that's just what's really cool about it. So,
so what caused that transition then in your thinking? Like when you said, you know, why would I want to go do that? It's 20 degrees out, you know, et cetera. What caused the transition from that mindset to, hey, this is not so bad?
oh, first time I played though, for how long I told Eric Toth that this game looks so stupid, I was hooked. And the first time I played it, so I was in, I don't know if you guys know Doug Jones. He's the guy that runs our Thursday night league in town. So
we assume you've heard him on the show because we've had him on the show before.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well done, Eric. Good save.
Yeah, good work.
And so the first time I played, he put me on a court with an 82-year-old guy wearing jeans and a guy like PTI range, like 20 to 30, something like that. And you play one set and you rotate around each. I lost every set, like 6-1, 6-0. I was faulting.
You were that guy.
Oh, I think I did the good old fashioned slammed an overhead over the fence and celebrated. And until they told me that you can't do that. Because I think Eric Toth on purpose didn't tell me any of the rules. So he wanted to hear what my experience was the next day in the office. But as crazy as it sounds for me getting my ass kicked that night, I had so much fun. It was how like then everyone stays and has beers and just you get to meet everyone. And it's like you don't get that even like if you play like interclub tennis, like everyone they play their match and then you get the hell out of there. Like no one really cares. And I think that's just what's so special about paddle.
I fully agree. Should we discuss this weekend real quick? Let's touch on it.
Yes.
You know, like
What happened this weekend?
So take us through this, Eric. I mean, you took out some big guys. I mean, you know, you took out the King of Baltimore, right? You took out Bernie.
Yeah.
You got MC Visser, the lumberjack. You got Drew Broderick out there, some guy we've never heard of. Mick and Sven, you know, national champs, like Chris Humphrey. I mean, you took everybody out. How was it like? Like, what was it like carrying Juan on your back, like dragging him over the finish line like that?
Billy, we just want to know what it's like to beat any of those players because none of us will.
Hey, I didn't know what to expect either. Well, gotta tell you guys how it all started. So it was last Sunday. My fiance, she had one of her friends in town and we're doing like a little Sunday fun day because they didn't have work on Monday. And Tomas texts me at like 10 o'clock at night. And he's like, hey, you're about to get a phone call from Juan Araya. What's this about? And Juan texts me. He goes, hey, do you want to go play Philly Open next weekend? And of course, like I don't have Juan's number saved. So I thought it was just someone fucking with me. Like, there's no way. Why is Juan Araya texting me wanting to play the Philly Open? And so I just told him, all right, I got to ask two people. I got to ask my fiance if I can go play and if she wants to go play. And then my second phone call was to my assistant because we had the club championships this weekend if he could run it. And sure enough, they both said yes. Now, Katie, my fiance, she might have been a little overserved and she doesn't remember saying that as she was going to Philadelphia.
You're a smart man.
She found out the next day. But so I was like, I'm in. I'll be there. Was able to book some flights, got in late that Friday night. And my favorite part was like, you know, because Tomas and I, we always talk about like, okay, what are we going to do? Like, what side you want to play? All this and all that. And Juan's like, Eric, we'll show. I'm like, all right, well, do you want to show up to Philly cricket like at 8:30, like 30 minutes before the match to warm up and talk strategy? Like, nah, he shows up at like 8:50 and I'm like, God, like I'm starting to freak out. Like, all right, does he want me to play the deuce? Does he want me to play the ad? Like, what are we doing here? And we walk on the court and he's like, all right, Eric, this is what you're gonna do. You're just gonna hit overheads down the middle. You're gonna lob down the line. And then if you get a backhand every once in a while, I'll drive it. But other than that, I got this for you. Like we'll be fine.
Nice. I like
Yeah.
his style.
Wait, he just described everything Mark Parsons does.
Hey, you know, I told Juan, like, I guess you can only play with Canadians because we're maybe the only ones that'll listen to you.
I think it's been a long time since Mark listened to one. I think Mark looks like he's listening, but I think it's gone. Yeah. Did he do the penguin walk at all this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Or was he good? He did.
Oh yeah. No,
He's awesome.
now
One arrival. I love one.
the thing though is I was ready for it because for how much I love Doug Jones and how much he's helped me with paddle. Doug acts very similar on the court. Like if you mess up, he will let you know about why you messed up and what you should have done different and the eye rolls and all that. But you know what? I'll say this about Juan. What he did an incredible job of, he coached me through the whole tournament. Because I think it's something that Tomas experienced with Drew, and I think that's what's helping Tomas and I together why we've had some success so far is like we've been sponges to those guys. I mean, they're living legends in our game, you know, and how that would just be ignorant for us to not take all that knowledge from them. And that's what he did such a good job of, just every match.
So talk about that a little bit. I mean, what for high level players when that's occurring, I mean, what's the takeaway for the club player? Like what kind of mid-match adjustments, thinking, things like that do you do?
I think you really just have to understand what's going on, be coachable, and like let the ego go. Like if it's not working, and say for example, like, you know, you got your forehand drive and you can't make a forehand to save your life, and your partner saying like, hey, you know, let's slow it down, let's figure out for a little bit and then we'll regroup. And if you're just too hard-headed and you're like, nope, I'm going to keep on swinging until I find it. It's just, I think it's being so aware about what's going on in the match. And hey, if things are going well, keep on doing it. Don't change it up. And then if things are not going well, you have to adapt, because there's so many ways that you can play this game. And I just think what happens just at the club, and really even at our level too, sometimes is we get so one track minded, just like, this is how I'm going to play. And if I don't change, then, you know, because I don't think I hit one cut overhead all weekend long. And
Seriously?
Yeah. And if
Wow.
Ron's like, hey, you don't need to do it, you just need to hit down the middle every overhead, I'm like, hey, you've won a national championship before, what do I know? So
That's awesome.
So is a lot of the stuff that you're talking about as you do that, is that more inward looking? Like, is it talking about what you're doing or the opponents are doing, or just a combination of both?
Oh, both for sure. Because that's the thing. Say when we played Mick and Sven, had to be careful going down the middle because you can mix forehand that's put a hole through your chest. So Mom was like, either you get it to Sven's forehand, or, you know, you just find a way to get it to the side wire on Mick. And again, he was just, for how emotional he gets, he was just so like calm about what he needed me to do. Like he never freaked. I think when we had moments that we weren't playing well is because like he was kind of panicking about what I was doing, and then I was panicking, and it was just a complete clusterfuck of panicking. So it just.
Eric, I don't think, like, what I love about Juan, I don't think that he's really angry at his partner. You watch him play, and he's just not the type of guy that if you're swinging at every forehand and missing, he's not going to be like, that's awesome. Just keep swinging. He's going to be honest with you and be like, that was fucking stupid. Quit swinging at that. Let's get it in play and go from there. Like, I don't think he's angry, right? Like you've played with him. You can correct me. I don't think it might look like he's frustrated and angry, but he's just honest. And I think that's the better way to play. Like,
yeah, no, I agree with that.
I was playing with Tyler this weekend, and he goes to me, he goes, oh, that was a good try. I go, it fucking wasn't a good try, Tyler. It was a stupid forehand. And I don't need you to like blow smoke up my ass. Like, if I've hit a bad shot, tell me I've hit a bad shot and I won't do it again. And I think that's exactly what Juan does. And it's not a bad thing,
No, you're absolutely right. 99% of the time.
Yes. That's all right.
No, there was
Close
one point. There's one point. So I think either Juan or we hit, this is in the finals. We got, I think it was like Felipe to pop up a volley, and Chris stayed at the net, and I had a sitter backhand, and I could have either just rolled it because Felipe bailed, but Chris so I could have either just tagged Chris or just rolled it back to the baseline. And I tried tagging Chris.
Oh, so would everyone. Come on.
And he stuffs the volley right in front. And Juan I hear him under his breath, you fucking idiot. Hit it to Felipe. He's back on the baseline. And I just go, yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid.
Oh, you said that out loud, Juan.
I love that. You fucking idiot. That's perfect. Oh, that's awesome. So, let's talk. Would you mind if we talked a little strategy? You guys are not playing together at Nationals, so can we, like, for the club player, if we go through some of your match?
Before that, can we just for 1 second, Eric, that third set in the finals, you're in the tie break. I mean, what the heck was going on in your mind? I mean, you're in the finals of Philly. You're in this crazy tie break. It's going back and forth. The momentum's swinging like nonstop. Like, what is going through your head?
Don't fuck this up.
There you go.
let Juan do his thing. No, you know what? That match had just so many momentum swings. But it was, even though going into it we were the underdogs, I think the really cool thing about paddle is, like, ever since I started playing, I've never felt like there's not a match that I can't win. So going into that tiebreaker, even though at 6-5 we had those match points that went away, I just viewed it as like, just Chris and Felipe stepped up their game. Like, we didn't necessarily lose it. They played awesome, and very fortunately we got up to that 6-1 lead, but it was like just back to it. They locked it in. Felipe had some unbelievable gets. And sure enough, I was like, there goes another match point. There goes another match point. There goes another match point. And finally at 6-5, I think that's where I was like, okay, we need to win this one right here, because you can't lose 3 match points the previous game, and it can't be up 6-1 in a tiebreaker and lose it. And I mean, shout out to Scott Falatek, because I'm thankful that those nets were pretty tight, because Felipe's forehand drive could have very easily went in after it clipped the net. So like, it was awesome to be a part of.
It was awesome to watch. It's amazing.
Do you find that your role changes, like when you're playing with I mean, obviously you play with Tomas Christian quite a bit this year, and in nationals you're going to does your role change when you're playing with Tomas versus Juan versus anybody else?
Yeah, but I think it plays more to who we're playing against. Take for example, like when we played Juan and Mark in Short Hills, we had to play a pretty similar game plan against Felipe and Chris, right? So Felipe and Chris have their strengths on the outside. Mark and Juan have their strengths on the outside. So it's kind of like going into that match, both matches, we knew, okay, this is the game plan. This is just what we have to do. I think Tomas and I, what we do really well together is that we check the egos at the door. If it's like that, I have to take my lefty overhead in the do side, if he has to take his righty overhead in the ad side, like it is no love lost at all. Like we want to enjoy our time out there. We want to win. And it's like, there's no animosity whatsoever. If it's like, all right, I'm just standing here, I'm not taking an overhead, it's fine, it's okay. Like, because I think there's some guys out there that like they gotta take the overheads, they gotta be the alpha. And I think same can be said about some guys that are the B players, right? It's like, hey, you gotta sometimes step it up too if that's what the matchup warrants. So I think it kind of goes back to my previous point. You got to be flexible in this game. You just got to be aware about what's going on. And hey, if it ain't working, you got to change something or else you're going to lose.
Mark Parsons said kind of the same thing. He's like, you've got, the best teams know their role, know when you're the alpha, when you're the beta. And, you have two guys both swinging for things that generally doesn't work. And, it changes match to match, but yeah, he said the same thing.
Yeah.
And do you mind if we talk a little strategy? What you guys talk about when you played?
Yeah.
Like if you're playing, like who should we pick on? Do you want to just pick one match and we'll like Nick and Sven, you guys just beat the national champions.
Yeah.
Like as you and Juan kind of talk about the match, what's the initial game plan going in? And then like, what about like the end of the first, as you get deeper into the match, what do you guys talk about?
Yeah.
And just a heads up, Noah and I completely started this show just for free lessons. Really, this is all this is. It's just smart. An elaborate ploy for us to get free lessons and hopefully get a little better at the game.
Hey, who needs a My Paddle subscription when you
Absolutely.
can just start your own podcast?
Who those guys? Just listen to our show.
No, I think one was very fortunate playing with Juan. I mean, he's seen everyone. He knows everyone's tendencies. He knows what to look out for. It's finding, of course, you want to avoid your opponent's strengths, right? But there's at times where you have to sometimes feed them a shot that they might like but they're still taking a risk on. Like a good example is, say you don't want Mick to really drive off the deck. You don't want to give him like something down up, but sometimes he might get a little wild if he's trying to do it off the screen. It's still, say, a drivable ball, but there's just some guys, and I'm not trying to pick on Mick or anything, but you wouldn't give someone that shot. You would rather give them something that they're going to take more risk on, right? So say like Felipe, for example, great backhand, really good backside screen drive,
yep.
But you can kind of read it a little bit better when it's a side back. It's just a little bit of things where they're taking risk where they might miss it, even though it's their strength, but you might be in a better position to get it back. So, again, that's what Juan was just so helpful. He's like, and whatever you do, don't do this or else you're screwed. Like if you give that sitter forehand, or if you hit it down up to Sven's backhand, like we will lose this match in 20 minutes. So, but I think it's also too, it's like what Juan says, like, and try and find ways to hide your weaknesses as well.
That's easy to say when you're as good as you guys. when you mean Noah and Ara and the rest of the people that play this game, the weaknesses are a little more glaring.
Yeah.
Hard to hide them, Eric.
Well, I'll say this, like, and that's the thing is, I'm still pretty new to paddle. Like, and every tournament I play, I feel like I learn so much. And as novice and beginner as this sounds like, it's like really lobbing with intent.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I first started playing this game, it was like, and then you watch it play, you just see them lobbing, and you're like, okay, what are they doing that for? And then you realize, like, oh, well, if you try and drive every single ball, you're screwed in this game. Then it develops into, okay, why am I lobbing cross court? Why am I lobbing down the line? And it's like, Juan was like, if you lob short cross court, Mick's gonna eat you up. If you lob short cross court, Humphreys is gonna screw you up. But if you lob down the line, say then against Sven, like the only overhead he can really hurt you with is a waterfall. So if that does happen, then get ready for the waterfall. So I thought it was just kind of how he painted each picture was like, okay, if you're not going to be perfect out there, but if you do this, be prepared because this is how they're going to try and attack you. Because, I mean, you guys have talked about it, say it's the Durant and Steven Mitchell effect. Steven's getting hit the ball a lot more than Johan.
Yep.
When teams saw Juan and I line up across the net,
you were busy. You were busy.
It was to hit the ball more at me.
Of course.
Well, and obviously you were able to fight those off, and obviously had a fantastic weekend, and probably some good stuff to watch as you're getting ready for nationals in a week and a half or so. It talked to us a little bit about and I know it's not been a long time there yet, but you mentioned Doug Jones, and I know he does a ton for paddle in Cincinnati. Talk a little bit about what's going on in Cincinnati and the league there. And I mean, as I understand it from Doug, sounds like you got a pretty good year-round type paddle scene there.
Yeah. I think, to sum up Cincinnati, it's probably a mid to smaller city market for paddle. I think we have over 30 courts, like 32 courts in the city. So we have 6 divisions. So Division 1, all the top guys. Division 6 is your beginners. So Monday nights, D2 and D4 play. Tuesday nights, D1, D3 plays. And then on Wednesday nights, D5, D6 plays. So that's run through tennis scores. It's called the GCPTA. So that is your club team. So are pretty similar in New Jersey. Whichever club, the pro has to play for that club. But pretty fortunate, all the top pros in town, like they're in D1, like there's no pros that have to bounce down to D2 or D3. But for Doug's league is on Thursday nights. And what's awesome about Doug's league is that you're going to get 4 guys on your court that are hopefully all around the same level. And it was kind of like I mentioned before. So you play 1 set with 1 guy, and then you rotate around. So you get 3 sets in no matter what. And Doug, he's just the mad scientist. He's created like an algorithm with like your strength of schedule, and he assigns you kind of like a rating. So like for however well you do on your court with the other ratings on your court, you move up the ladder and down the ladder. So it's just, let's say he's got a lot of time on his hands to come up with a system, but it's fantastic. Now, I think the issue was, or what we're kind of dealing with right now, is that every club in town kind of stole his idea. So, and it's a little bit unfortunate. I'm not trying to throw my club under the bus, but we do the same thing too. It's a little bit, they don't want to have to drive to other clubs when, they could play at Hyde Park that night and play with all their buddies on their D3 team or D4 team. And Doug's league is unfortunately taking a little hit. I think it's also to deal with pickleball too, because he also does the exact same thing for pickleball. And he does that on Sunday nights, I believe, or Monday nights, something like that. So, but I still play, and that's what I tell Doug, because it's a public league. That's what's awesome about it. He buys the court time from clubs, and it's just such a good way for, say, former tennis players, or like it's how my fiance started playing paddle. Like we're not members at clubs. We can't afford that.
Right.
So, and it's not like Chicago or other cities that have public paddle. So it's like the only way, if you're 24, 25 years old,
sure,
get to play paddle. So what's good right now, there's a young group. We have a couple of 24, 25, 26-year-olds that they play college tennis at like Xavier or NKU, and they're starting to get the bug a little bit. So hopefully like that generation will come up. But, you know, you look at myself, Tyler Frazier, Will Lofgren, Rob Bacher. That's how we all started playing paddle, was through Doug's league. You know, we weren't able to play in a club team, and kind of what's happened, what's really ironic about it is that's how we all received jobs at country clubs. Was we played in Doug's league, we really loved paddle, we started playing, and that's what led. Now Rob's not in tennis and paddle anymore, but for myself, Tyler, and Will, that's how we got into it.
Well, I hope Doug's promoting using you, Tyler, and Will, because you guys had a great weekend. Tyler won Louisville, you won Philly, Will made semis of Louisville.
Yeah.
There's a good young crew coming out of Cincinnati, and hopefully, you know, you said some college players are starting to play. Hopefully this is the start of more good young players coming out of that area.
Absolutely. And it kind of goes back to Doug's format that he has. You know, I'm not trying to throw my teammates or Will or Tyler's teammates, but, you know, these Tuesday nights, we're not breaking a sweat and every ball is hit at our partners. But if we go play on Thursday nights,
sure,
you know, our court would be, say, me, Tyler, Will, and like a guy that has like a 2 or a 3 PTI, or even Doug's still a really good player as well. So we're all just looking at each other like, oh my goodness, that's way better than what we had to do on Tuesday nights.
So just out of curiosity, it's kind of interesting, I guess, you know, if you've got to drive an hour and a half, like unfortunately sometimes in Chicago in our matches, depending on what club you're going to, you might have a crazy drive. But what's the distance between clubs that guys wouldn't want to play against another club, or drive for a match like in Doug's league? If you're driving,
really not that bad. It's about 30 minutes. It's kind of in the burbs. While
they're soft, Noah. They're soft in Cincinnati.
Huh? It's no Chicago. That's nothing.
Well, I think
45 to an hour in Jersey, even in the same tournament.
Yeah, right.
Well, I think unfortunately too, you know how I was talking about Doug can be pretty similar to Juan. I think Doug has kind of unfortunately made a couple people a little frustrated about some things in paddle, but I think it's kind of a little bit too is just kind of grow a pair, and just like he's being honest, like he's not like being derogatory to you, like he's calling you out because you're foot faulting, like,
oh boy,
don't get us started. It's our favorite subject.
He said that endears them to Ben and Ara.
Yeah,
a friend of the show if you're against foot faulting.
Hey, can I call out the Held brothers while we're on this? While we're talking foot faults just for a second? Both of them, Zach and David, both of them. Have you both busted both of them, Ara?
I don't know, but maybe we just put it out there right now. Anybody who can get any of the Held brothers, please send it over.
Both of them. Both of them, the nicest guys, though.
There's got to be some video from India a couple weeks ago.
Cheating. That's it.
Do we have any good paddle stories from the Cincinnati leagues? Because things can get a little wild, I know, in Chicago in a hut after hours. Anything you can share?
You
don't have to name any names
without getting anybody fired.
Yeah. No. So there's one good one. There's a guy, Anthony Palmenter. So Anthony moved to Atlanta. You guys might have seen his name in some draws, but good dude, played college tennis at Xavier. He's around my age. He's playing a league match. So before I started a country club gig, I was coaching at Xavier. I actually joined Cincinnati Sports Club, which is like the cheapest club to become a member at. And it's kind of like the ragtag crew. So I was on their D1 team, and Anthony Palmenter was playing, and they were in a third set breaker, and they were down. I can't remember what the score was, but he lost the point. chucks his paddle into the pool.
Yes.
And out of just thought they lost the match. Opponents go, it's 6-2 in the tiebreaker. And he had to chuck this paddle about 100 yards into the pool. And so he's just trying to, like, he's getting like the rake out. What's it called? You get the leaves out. He's trying to fish his paddle out. He's got to play the rest of this tiebreaker with a wet paddle. Kind of similar to our match. He gets it close back to like 6-5 with the wet paddle, but still loses it.
Once he lost, did he throw it back into the pool?
I think that's why he moved to Atlanta. I think he couldn't show his face around anymore.
And you were saying about me throwing my paddle into the snow. I would like to say that was Tyler.
Did Tyler confirm it?
It might
No,
have
not
been
yet.
Tyler-
But
it
we're
might
gonna.
have been
If
Tyler
I
that-
say it on here, then Tyler can't defend himself, and it was Tyler.
Wait, in fairness, it might have been Tyler at that time.
I can't remember throwing my paddle out of the court for quite a while.
Remember in Columbus how cold it was last year?
Oh my God.
And all
it was
the snow?
miserable. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story about Columbus. Tyler's put up with me for a while and with my ADD. So we're talking the day before the tournament. He's like, you ever take anything? I go, nah, I generally don't like to take like prescription stuff. And he's like, well, what about like Joe Rogan talks about like Alpha Brain? It's like a over the counter, like Adderall focuses you. So I was like, all right, let's give it a go. I took some in the morning, first match. I knew we were okay for the first couple of rounds. Like first point of the match, I go to cut a ball off down the side screen on the deuce side. And I swung, and I was about an hour and a half early for the swing. It went by me, and then we change ends. I'm like, Tyler, I don't know why. I'm nervous. I can't stop my hand shaking, all of this. And he's like, I think that Alpha Brain may have affected you a little bit. And I could not stop my hand shaking for about definitely the first two. It took me through lunch. I'm like, I kind of feel normal now. But yeah, that was Columbus last year when it was freezing cold.
I think the morning of, wasn't it 4 degrees?
Oh, it was horrible out. I had not planned for it to be that cold. And I'm pretty sure Ox and DC still showed up with I see you drinking Bud Light right now, but they showed up with their Bud Light at the hut at 8:30 in the morning.
Columbus is such a fun paddle city.
It's a great town.
Those dudes are awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan Heil, Denny
Mhm.
English, they're great guys.
Wait, does that mean you're signing up already for the battle at the Mud Hole?
Mud
In
Hole.
the
I got
Saturday
it.
after the
I'm
4th of
bummed
July?
I couldn't make it last year. I had a wedding, but I'm trying to convince Tomas to go play it. Can't let Tyler Frazier win that again.
Well, if you can't make it, I'm available.
I will be there at the Mud Hole. That's the
This
one.
is the forum Noah uses to pick up high-level players now.
He's
He
fishing.
gets it on record. Hey,
That's
we've
right.
got to up your beer game there, Eric.
Hey,
He's a man of the
ain't
people.
nothing
The Bud
better
Lights.
than a Bud Light on a Monday night.
Okay, all right, fair play.
There you go.
I wasn't gonna up it much. I was just gonna up it to like a Coors Light or like a banquet beer or something.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy. All right. Who wants to take him? Who
Yeah,
wants to
let's
ask this
go.
question and then have
So-
a mean yell at us?
So tell us your thoughts on PTI.
It helps me out when I got to do lineups for the ladies.
So is that so in
You
Ohio?
guys are
do
using
guys set- do you guys set up your lineups based on PTI? Is that mandated, or is it just kind of
No, but it's a good reference if you just stay with it every single time. Like,
Do you
hey,
hear a lot
sorry.
of people? Do you hear a lot of people supporting it? Do they love it? Do they not like it? What are what are you
No,
hearing?
they do.
Good.
I
They're
think,
winning.
right. I think I think the more information it gathers, more results, I think it will just get more and more accurate. I kind of look at it a little bit when I was a college tennis coach when we were recruiting. There's a rating system. It's called UTR. And it's kind of similar. And I think the big thing that you have to look at it's not the end all be all, right? Like, someone that's say a 9 PTI, you know, can in theory be better than someone that's a 7 PTI, but it's so minuscule. I think where it is accurate in the blocks of like 5 to 10.
Yes.
Right. Like, so of course, someone that's like a 5 PTI is going to be better than someone that's a 17 PTI.
Yes.
I think when you get down to like, and, you know, looking at this weekend, like I entered the weekend as like a -1. And
I know. Congrats on that. I was looking what you were. Well done. You're
like,
the big mover of the week, my friend.
Right. So I think like stuff like that. And
Wait. Tell everyone what you ended the weekend. You went in as a -1. What did you end the weekend as?
-6.
Holy shit. That's a big move, my friend. Well done.
Well, after
No
cabin
pressure.
fever, but here's the thing: at the end of cabin fever, I was -6, so I went down to -1 and then went right back up.
How did you drop 5?
Hey,
Happens.
PTI, you never know. But I think the big thing is you can't get so caught up in it, right? I think that's where some people gotta like
Just
all right,
let it go.
pump the brakes a little bit. Like just because someone is this doesn't, and you're not this, like you don't feel like you need to attain that.
And compare yourself.
And that's something actually, I'll be quite honest, like with my first year playing tournaments last year, like I was so like, I gotta get my ranking up. I gotta get my PTI up. And then it's like, just focus on getting better and the rest of it will take care of itself. So
now it's been a long time since I've played tennis, and UTR really wasn't around when I played, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think with the UTR, the difference between the UTR and the PTI for paddle, the UTR is always moving in the, if you beat someone or someone beats you, but they're like let's just use PTI, but let's say they were a 6 PTI when they beat you, but then they go on a run like you just did and they become like a -4. That keeps changing. Or if you beat them, that keeps changing your ranking.
I believe so.
Right.
Yeah.
Where the PTI, it's only based on what your ranking is that day.
Correct.
So
And
I do like the UTR way they do it. Because if you do beat someone, now you're pulling for them to do well and get better, because then your ranking will change.
Right. But what I do also like about UTR is that they only take your results for the last year. So anything over a year, it's now off your record.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, we did find a flaw in the system this weekend too, as we played a match last week, I think last Thursday, and that was a makeup match from like 3 months ago. And everybody's PTIs had moved a little bit. And so we won a match that in theory we should have lost based on the PTIs at the time, or I'm sorry, based on the PTIs currently. But at the time, it should have been a kind of a toss-up. So apparently, if somebody doesn't enter the actual date of the match properly, like if you're doing a makeup match and they put it in for the date it was originally played at, it will not calculate right. But
you
there
have
is
to
an ability.
modify the date. Yep, you have to go back and modify. Otherwise, it's definitely.
Yeah. So just we went straight to the source on that one at about 11 o'clock on Friday night. There were maybe some alcohol and sedatives involved in that, but fortunately we got a response right away. So
in Denver? Come on. Huh? There was
fun.
One thing I'll say about PTI though, like what I'm noticing in, and not the NRTs, right? Because that doesn't go based on PTI necessarily, but like, the B divisions or the opens, things like that. A lot of times, like that's they do the seeding based on PTI, and usually it's the top 3 or 4 that are in the semis, so we can say what we want, but somehow it's getting the right people to the finals, and it's calculating and it's doing the seeding correctly. So, there's definitely some merit there.
All right. On a fun subject, you've obviously dropped that tennis stuff. What are your thoughts on these other 2 games with rackets, pickleball and the hot game of the day, padel?
Man, do I want to play padel so badly.
Have you played it yet?
I haven't. It looks.
Have you
so-
watched all the videos like I have and still
Yeah.
haven't played it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a sneaky feeling that the moment I play padel, I'm gonna really, really like, kind of like how I first liked paddle. But that all being said, I did not catch that bug when I picked up a pickleball paddle for the first time.
Well, while you're talking padel, do you want to give your partner from this past weekend a plug of what he's about to do?
Oh my gosh, have you guys heard about it? This
Mhm.
facility?
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about it. You want to explain it?
He didn't go into much detail about it, but it sounds, I believe it's him, Mark,
Patricio?
yes. And
Yep.
then there was one,
Parsons.
official.
Oh yeah, well that Mark, yeah.
Oh, that Mark. Yeah, it's Fisher.
That
It's
Mark.
Fisher, Patricio, and Juan, I think. I think it's the three of them. Or is Parsons involved?
Parsons is
Yeah,
in
and
it,
Parsons
yeah,
involved as well, yeah.
Yeah.
No. So it's pickleball, padel, golf simulators,
Mhm.
all in a big facility. I mean, it looks like a country club kids like dream world. Like if I was 16 years old, I would have a blast in there. I mean, it's gonna be pretty sweet. I think it's opening pretty soon, so I know he's excited about it.
It's the sports house.
Sports
that right?
house, yeah, yeah.
AK
They're gonna be doing
US?
some soft openings, I think, in April, for a select few.
They didn't want to put a indoor paddle court in there.
Apparently not. I was surprised too.
Who's going to put the first indoor paddle court in one of the
I
not
saw
Florida, not
the volley
Florida or any
guys.
of that? But
There
I
is
think
one
the-
already. Yeah.
The volley guys have one, I believe, right? Like the Weaver
Absolutely.
volley, people
Wait.
with the,
where
yeah, they
else?
have one.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, is that where you ship all your stuff? Ah, have you
Mhm.
played on it, Noah?
No, I've not.
That's
It's
Amish
so-
country, Lancaster,
is.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
That is correct. But yeah, they've got, I think the only negative to it is that the ceiling is like, I want to say 20-foot ceiling maybe. So it's maybe a little bit lower than optimal, but I mean, to have an indoor
Yeah.
court is ideal. So I'm still carrying hope that there's going to be that Fort Myers, Florida indoor courts coming soon. So we'll see. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. Big fan.
So you're not a pickleball fan?
Not
You like
right?
like I like playing air, but coaching it I like. And I'll tell you why. It's because I can take extremely unathletic people with no racket skills and make them feel like they've accomplished something.
Hey,
Which you
can do
can't
that.
do on a paddle court. It's much harder on a paddle court.
Yes, you can. Yes,
But
you can.
You can. It's not
That's-
as easy though. A pickleball
That's about your
court
skill as a director.
at the
How well
no,
you sell
at
it.
the end
Oh,
of an
you're
hour,
doing
you
great.
can have
No,
the most
fantastic.
unathletic people at least rallying on a pickleball court, and you can make them feel better.
Yeah,
Ben,
plus Eric.
I got a secret for you.
Let's do it. Let's hear it.
Beginner paddle lessons. If it's not going well, bring out a tennis ball, and they kill it. So much easier. You get them
Do you,
started on
do you go with regular tennis ball or a
regular
green
tennis
dot?
ball, regular tennis
Interesting.
ball, and then move on to a platform tennis ball.
Big
They
Canadian brain on Eric.
they get so much better. I'm telling you, beginners, it's perfect.
I like that.
I'm
Stealing that.
I'm surprised though you haven't gotten into a pickleball. A lot of the pros are getting into that. Have you tried naked pickleball? That's like apparently like gaining a lot of steam
disgusting.
lately.
It's
I'm telling
disgusting.
it's happening. It's a
And
thing.
no one want. I'm telling you, the bikini. Like I'm trademarked this, but the bikini pickleball league with just hot chicks playing pickleball, massive. Naked
Okay.
pickleball with the most of the pickleball community. No one wants to see that.
Yeah, I mean, if you did a naked shuffleboard league, like I'd be maybe interested in that too. But come on, I'll say this about pickleball. It's the fun factor, right? And you can have events around it and it's social. Like if say we're out with 8 of our buddies and we want to do something different, there's no way in hell we're gonna play tennis or paddle. But hey, just pick up our pickleball paddles and go play like that I'm all in on. But just the teaching can get a little tough with it. And I think what pros are struggling with is how to monetize it. And, really you got to do it through events and leagues. But then, do you want to do that every single Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Like, where's the balance of, okay, you have tennis still, right? And then there is this craze and there is this wave of pickleball, but how do we make it realistic a little bit too? And I think that's the thing. Pickleball's still young too, right?
Well, I think you have to have a league in order for people to want to take lessons and groups. You've got to make it a league where people are winning and losing. When people start losing, they're like, okay, I need to get better. Let me do drills. Let me, they need to have a league in order to really get a lot of lessons out of this. But I will tell you, here in
The look on
Chicago,
Eric's face says it all.
I know, but here in Chicago, there's a guy and myself at the club. We do pickleball 1, 2, 3. It's a 5-week course where week 1 is like dinks and volleys. Week 2 they do drives and serves. Week 3 we have them playing, not scoring, just positioning and learning the 2-bounce rule. Week 4 we touch on scoring and get them understand it. Week 5 it's like full on scoring and free them into the wild. They move straight into 4, 5, 6, which is the strategy based for 5 weeks. And then after that, they move into match play drill where they show up, you give them a theme, like, crush and rush the return or leaning in and shifting. And you do a 5-week session and that's like a 15-week session that we've got people locked into, and they go from there. I'm telling you, monetizing it,
Hey.
it's worked out really well for us this year.
I can't wait to listen to your podcast next year about pickleball.
No, I'm not touching it.
What's the name gonna be? Inside the Dink?
Yeah. Balls in your kitchen, Eric. Feeling the Girani reference.
Great.
Yeah.
Can't wait for it.
All right, let's move on. When you're not playing pickleball with your 8 friends on a Friday night, what else are you up to? What are you doing? What keeps you busy? What's fun? Come on.
Travel and golf. That's all I care about outside of tennis and paddle.
Traveling outside of America, inside of America. What are we doing?
Everywhere and anywhere. Trying to go back home whenever I can, back up to Toronto.
Are you from Toronto, the city?
Yeah. So just outside.
London,
Noah,
Kitchener.
I'm gonna be bummed not playing Canadian Nationals. I'm sorry.
Again, how can you be Canadian if you're not playing the Canadian Nationals?
Long story. I gotta go to prom.
What?
My fiance, she's a teacher, so she's we're
Glad you said teacher, not my fiance. She's in high school.
She volunteered us as chaperones, so I'm going to prom.
Nice. All right. Well,
so where are we traveling?
We'll have to win the title for you then.
Yeah. Where are you traveling? Give us some places.
Well, so this summer for our honeymoon, we're going to Europe. So we're doing London, Paris, Lyon, Toulon, Barcelona, Lisbon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Paris is awesome, minus the French people.
Go.
There's a lot of padel.
Get rid of the
Spain.
French. Yep.
There is.
There's a lot of padel in Spain.
You're even Louisville Claire is a tour guide for France.
So at Short Hills, I asked. So Tomas and I, our day was done early. We actually lost to Louis and Anton in the back trot, and so we were at the bar the rest of the day. And so I see Anton, or I see Louis. And I go, "Hey Louis, like I'm going to France for my honeymoon. Like, have you ever been, obviously, like Paris, Lyon, or Toulon?" And he just kept on nodding his head at me. Like, Louis, like,
these are places, Louis.
Yeah. He just kept on, and he goes, "You know what? You should ask her. I think she knows." And I think he just pointed at some random person at the bar. I think he was a little overserved as well, but
Louis,
Never.
Oh, come on.
Louis, I know that I can't understand you, but I know you can understand me. So
Just-
Where are you off to in London? Do you know?
Wimbledon. So
Oh, you are going to Wimbledon.
yeah, super excited.
Spend an evening at the Dog and Fox.
That's the spot.
So yeah, it's the top of Wimbledon Village. It used to be back when tennis was fun. A lot of the players would actually go drink there in the evenings. Now it's too serious, and they
Starting to
they have
sound like
nutritionists
Battlefield.
and shit. But the Dog and Fox in Wimbledon Village at the top of the street is the best place to hang out during Wimbledon.
Good to know.
It spills out over onto the street, and it's a fun evening. You'll have a good time.
Nice.
Yeah. Should we move on to the speed round with Mr. Eric and get him out of here?
do
On,
it.
it's
Let's
late
do it.
on
So-
a Monday
yeah.
night.
Yeah, it's 10, almost 10:30 on a Monday night. There we go.
Eric,
Probably
this is
ready for
Noah's
bed.
favorite question. So he'll
Well-
ask you.
It's just appropriate because I mean, I think there's strong feelings about it, but some people get the answer wrong. So as you're
He
doing all
travels a
this-
lot.
Yeah, as you're traveling,
Yeah.
you should be an expert on this. So as a male, and you travel in, well, I suppose you could do it in airplanes or cars, but as a male traveling in planes, do you or do not use a neck pillow when traveling?
I do not. I do not.
Excellent choice.
But
Excellent.
Well done.
but I do the good old fashioned hoodie.
Hold on. If I just leave it at no, I would do
Okay.
that because
This
anything
is-
else,
This is a
anything
travel
else.
hack.
All
This
right,
is a
all
travel-
right, give us the hack. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Especially if it's cold out, or you just make sure you pack either like a hoodie or a jacket. You go window seat, put it against the side, and that's your pillow right there.
Oh, just tuck
That's
it.
not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not emasculating like a
No, it's
neck pillow
manly.
is. Yeah,
I like
for
that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd go with that. That's
Yeah.
that's an acceptable answer.
It's perfect. You
It's a good
Done.
good
fall asleep right
qualifier.
away. Perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Neck
carry
pillows
all
are great. Neck pillows are great.
All
Yeah,
right.
get out of here.
No,
Let's
that's
move on. We won't embarrass Ara anymore. Like I was this weekend, have you been embarrassed by that stupid high cut serve that Randy Lofgren hits?
No, but I do it in Doug Jones's league.
I
So
will
I've
tell you.
embarrassed I've embarrassed a couple people with it.
All right, so Randy pulled it out. Me and Tyler were playing Randy and Ben, and Randy starts pulling it out, and I'm like, "Fuck, this is stupid." Like he aced me on a couple I took on the short hop, and then you catch it on the way up, and then you're left standing there at the net with like your dick in your hands as like the other person's about to smack you with a shot. You're like, "This is stupid." So I was one of the serves. I was like, "All right, when this comes over, I'm going to take it out of the air and just hit it like 200 yards away." Just stupid. So anyway, he ended up missing that serve at the end of the match. I'm talking to Ben McKnight. I'm like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry I got angry. That serve is so stupid." And Ben's like, so you think it should be illegal? I go, "Absolutely not. I think it's a fantastic serve. I don't like it. I think it's really stupid. But I think it's a great serve." And yeah. And I was
Wait. If Randy was hitting it, why don't you just call him on a foot fault?
no, he
He's
wasn't
famous-
foot fault. I was watching
Really?
for it.
He's
No, he
famous
wasn't
for
foot
that.
fault. He's
You
listening.
must
to
have
us. He
shamed
wasn't
him
foot
into it.
fault.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
actually sharing a room with Randy at Mr. Edwin Lewis's house. And in the morning, I was talking to Randy and I'm like, "Hey, that stupid fucking serve of yours is really effective." And he goes, "If it's any consolation, Johan looked as stupid as you did trying to get it back." So you haven't faced the Randy Lofgren high cut yet?
He was in town because he's originally from Cincinnati. He was in town right before Cleveland, and luckily when we played for fun, it was cold, so it wasn't really
Kicking.
really wasn't
Yeah.
coming. So
Yeah, it was warm out. And he said he can make it kick towards back and kick towards the ad screen door too.
I haven't seen that one. That one's
Yeah.
got you. I know he's
Yeah.
had back issues, so he must have a lot of free time on his hand.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's effective and good. I hate it, but it's good.
Okay, Eric, are you now the obvious front runner for nationals?
Hell
Damn,
no.
you damn right he is. You damn right
I don't
Eric
know.
West is the front runner.
That's
Hell
not what
no.
people are saying. They're saying
Come on,
you are,
Eric.
Eric.
No.
The West Christian or Christian West partnership not going to be not the front runners.
Maybe for the round of 16 reprieve draw.
Get Get out of here.
No, I mean, I'll say this. I mean, built a ton of confidence, and I mean, just so much that I learned from Juan was it's going to really be helpful down the road. And I know with Tomas actually getting to play with Drew again this weekend in Philly, I mean, it's kind of like we're starting to turn into clones of just not necessarily clones, but all that info that we're taking in.
It's good.
It's kind of like, how would we know what to do out there? Like if I didn't have Rob Bacher teaching me, if I didn't have Doug Jones teaching me, if Tomas didn't get to play with Drew, it's like we would just be out there slapping forehands and backhands and hope it goes in without.
Oh, that doesn't work? I guess I'll have to quit.
Gotta find a new way.
That's right.
Can I ask a quick question that's not on our list? Are you wearing a Popeyes hooded sweatshirt?
That I am.
I saw the orange and Louisiana. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's awesome.
Hey, I might not be Johan Durant, but he doesn't have a Popeye sponsorship.
Dude, that's the greatest sweatshirt.
That's funny. All right. All right. Share with us the favorite type of music or your favorite band. And I guess, well, to start with that.
Yeah. Big fan of like 2000s rock alternative. So like Coldplay, The Killers. I think as a kid, listening to that was my end, like Blink 182.
Yeah.
And now really into like kind of alternative, like electronic. So like Odessa, Kygo.
No idea.
Oh yeah, I have all their albums.
Yeah,
You guys are
no
a little
idea.
bit older, so.
What?
But
All right. So
No,
what's your walkout song then?
Levels by Avicii.
Nice.
You got, see, that's the thing.
Like you and Juan are probably blasting that together, right? Because he's
Yeah.
thinking and all that.
That seems like a Juan song. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would like that. There you go. All right. Good answers.
Fair enough. Avicii, he's the DJ that died, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, that's yeah.
Didn't get to see him.
I just gave you all my knowledge of
That's pretty
Avicii.
good.
Yeah, I did just watch some documentary on who's the Benny Hanna guy with the long hair.
Oh, Steve
Aoki.
Really good documentary.
Yeah. Well, Avicii has a documentary. I believe it's on Netflix as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was, I believe, I can't remember if they had it in there how he passed away, but talk about when he was touring, you know, he did over 300 shows in 1 year. Like he was just going off the wall. Like it's sad, but you know, for those that are big Avicii fans out there, it's kind of like, oh, I guess, if you do over 300 shows in 1 year, things aren't gonna be too good for your body.
All right, watch this, Eric. So Netflix obviously is looking for content. I hear there's a paddle documentary coming. What do you think, Ben?
Dude,
How many people are gonna watch it? 9?
None.
on.
I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
I'm gonna watch it. Come on,
guys. I gotta tell you, hell, we have a podcast on paddle. I love paddle. I really wish these clips come out of this podcast, and it's like it puts. I send it to these guys. I'm like, could this fucking documentary get any worse? Like, it's so boring. I don't care.
Let's wait until we see it.
It's all in production.
I'm just telling you, the clips they're posting though. I hope this documentary is awesome.
Wait, so this is a real thing?
It's a real thing. It's some guys out of Hinsdale in Chicago. I don't care about 3 guys and their Series 16 team on a Wednesday night, court 3, and one guy's fat and the other one's slow. I don't give a shit.
Series 7, but
I don't care what it is. It's not good, whatever they are.
Follow them on Instagram, Paddle Doc.
It's Paddle Doc. Let's give them a shout out. It's Paddle Doc. Everybody follow them. And I really hope it's better than the clips they're putting out, because poor Noah and Ara are like, Jesus, Ben.
I mean, Noah's going to be in it, so it's got to be good.
That's
Yeah,
the
of
only
course.
decent
Okay,
part so
I'm
far.
watching now. I'm watching.
Yeah.
Noah's in it. It's good.
Paddle Doc, Paddle
Yeah,
Doc on
Paddle Doc.
Instagram.
Everyone go check out the god awful clips that they're
my-
posting. But I
my-
hopefully it gets much better.
No, my guess is I was cut out. I wasn't really that interesting. So there's
Well,
just a lot of
maybe.
swearing in mine.
Noah may have gone off on a certain paddle company. Let's hope so.
Might have done
Good.
something.
Good deal.
But
All right. I know Noah's answer to this question, Eric, but if you could FYM anyone in the game of paddle, who is it?
he's Canadian. It's too nice to say.
No, he's not.
Well,
I bet as soon as we stop recording, he'll tell us though.
We did have someone do that once. It's
no,
fantastic.
it's a local guy. So
Good.
his name is Luke White, the nicest like human being. Guy's always got a smile on his face. He's like my build, doesn't have like a tennis background, but just gets everything back. And like if you hit him, he'll be like, oh, that was like really good. Like, the platform files, like that one video, what was it? Like Mr. Nice Guy, where Zell's like all with the cheesy jokes, like that's him.
Yep.
The whole time. And he's good. He plays on Tyler Frazier's team. He's like a 2 PTI, but like the guy it's like so nice that it gets annoying. And it just turns into he's lobbing. You just want to hit him. Like
So
he thinks
the takeaway from this is Eric doesn't like nice people. All right, now we understand.
He's Canadian. He grew up around everyone's nice.
No,
Eric,
I guess the other one would be like if I have to see another Tyler Frazier cut drop shot against me in league play, and FYM's coming.
Can we just talk about how Tyler Frazier might be the worst warm-up partner in the game of paddle? There's nothing but hit cut shots. You get to the end of the warm-up, I'm like, I'm glad you're ready to play because I haven't really hit a ball yet. You know I'm right.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the worst warm-up you'll ever have.
This is the most embarrassing part is when you try and do it too, and you like blade it over the fence and into the parking lot.
Go on, Ara. What do we
all
got?
right, Eric, what's your favorite TV show or movie?
I'm gonna say again, going back to the good old days, Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Good comedy sports movie, or like The Waterboy,
Adam
Caddyshack.
Sandler guy. Yep.
I love it. Love a good comedy.
Strange Brew.
Haven't heard that one. What's that?
It's a Canadian
Oh,
classic.
come on.
Strange Brew?
Bob and Doug
Oh.
McKenzie? Oh, yeah. That's classic Canadian.
How, you're not
They might-
Canadian if
yeah,
you've never
I-
Is
watched
it a
Strange
hockey?
Brew.
Let me guess, it's a hockey movie.
No, not really. No. I think they probably revoke your citizenship. You'll have to look it up tonight.
Yeah, you gotta
Strange
watch it.
Brew.
Next time
Classic.
when we see you at Nationals, you must have watched it by then.
Strange
Although-
Brew.
Although
Yes.
Bob and Doug McKenzie. Although in fairness, it might have been out probably right around the time he was born at the latest.
Oh, I think before that. How
Yeah.
old are you, Eric?
32.
Nah, it's before
33.
that.
33 now. Wow. Crazy saying that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So who plays Eric West in the Eric West movie?
Oh, Ryan Reynolds for sure.
Oh.
Attaboy.
Come on.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
Canadian.
I could see that.
He
could
is
see the
Canadian.
resemblance.
Come on.
Through the magic of the computer, Strange Brew came out 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you'd be forgiven, but I thought it was a rite of passage in Canada that you had to
It's,
watch.
I thought it was one of those things every Canadian had to
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah, you
yeah.
have to.
On the
With
list.
that and Trailer Park Boys.
Oh, how good is that?
That actually is pretty funny if people aren't familiar with that. Trailer Park Boys.
We
is
would watch
crazy.
that in college when we got home from the bars at 2 a.m. Oh my God. That
Seems
show is
appropriate.
so good.
That's
It's
an
so
appropriate
good.
time for that show. All right. What I think I know, but what shot are you best known for?
It's gotta be a good old backhand screen drive. Ain't nothing to it. That's Tomas describes it as the wind up. and I will just wind up and hit it as hard as I can. And for whatever reason, it goes in.
So you're a Brian Compton fan.
Yes. Tomas told me just to watch Brian Compton videos before we play to get inspired.
He hits that thing so well, doesn't he?
It's money.
Yeah.
The no look is crazy. Just sick.
Yeah. He's not coming up for nationals, right? He's just living life down in Alabama these days.
He's got a Padel tournament.
Oh, does he? Yeah.
I don't know.
Went to the dark side. Good for
Made
him.
that up.
Good.
Eric's,
All right.
Eric's staying strangely silent on that. I'm not sure.
All right. So if the screen drive, backhand screen drives, you think if we're playing you, what's the you might not want to tell us the truth, but what's the biggest weakness? If we're playing you, what should we pick on, Eric?
It actually it coincides with the backhand screen drive. Since I'm still new to the game, I look like I'm on ice skates out there when someone hits the nick. It is like the funniest thing. Like I've had Tomas have to like talk to me about it. I've had Juan talk to me about it this weekend. Like, all right, well, when it hits the nick, you'll go this way, and then I'll go that way. And I'm like, I know what to fucking do. But
just can't execute.
I just can't do. Like Mick hit a sweet roller, and this thing like shot out of the nick, and I like couldn't get it. And Juan's like, go. I'm like, Juan, I'm like 5 feet tall. Like I don't have long arms. Like I'm not getting that ball back.
Does that make you run faster when somebody yells at you? I don't ever really understood that. Like if somebody's really emphatic about running, it's not like it's going to make you go faster. You're not like a horse getting slapped. That's going to, help out. I never understood that.
So we just got to hit nicks every time to beat you.
Hey, but you know
Easy,
what?
easy, done.
Hey, but the day before Short Hills, we went over with Broderick, and we did solid 2-on-1s where we did a lot of help drill, and I think I owe Drew like $400 in support fees and private lesson fees.
Good.
I thought it was because you were over watching my match on the court next to you. That was helping out.
That's
No?
right. You were there.
That's right. I should
learned how to
drive
talk
from
mid-match.
6 feet behind the baseline. Yeah.
Now you learn how to keep a running commentary mid-match.
Yeah.
That
Noah
was
talks more than any other paddle player in the game of paddle.
that was how I first endeared myself to Ben. Was he was on the next court over at Nationals? I don't know, in Pittsburgh, I think maybe.
Maybe
like 8 a.m.
Well, we knew each
match.
other, but we hadn't really. Yeah. And it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, Eric. We're at some godforsaken site in Pittsburgh, way out there, and I'm tired. I'm like, I look at my partner. I go, will someone shut Noah the fuck up? Noah, he by the end of the warm up, Noah knows everything about you, your family, how your club ranking system works, what court you were on this way. I'm like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Just shut up, play your match, and then ask them questions quietly afterwards. Yeah.
There we go.
But yeah, that's Noah. So that's my buddy. All right. Obviously, other than you, who's the next player to win nationals that hasn't won one?
Oh, easy answer. Tyler Frazier.
Tyler Frazier. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
You think him and Adam this year?
Yeah, they have a great shot. I mean, they're playing good. I think you can tell going into this year, they're playing a little bit more confident. They've won some tournaments this year. I think the big tournaments, like I know they had a close one, Hughes and Powers at Short Hills. They had a close one with Felipe and Chris in Detroit, but I'm telling you, they're damn good. And I think they actually have the game to beat Durant Mitchell. I mean, you looked at Philly last year, like they should have won that match. I think they match up the best. I think if you were to pick a team to beat Durant and Mitchell, I think they have probably one of the best chances. It's just when Tyler starts cutting that ball and his cut drop shots, like he is the one, if he's confident, he can end points. And, nothing against all the other top ranked teams, but it's like, and Juan can do it too. But I think when Tyler is just on like that,
yeah.
I mean, what do you do? Like you can't do, there's even sometimes where you're lobbing well and he's behind the service line and he's doing it.
Yep.
And that just demoralizes you. So
and underrated, but he might have some of the best hands in the game. Like he doesn't flinch. His volleys are rock solid. It's a good play. He's a good player. Well, so it would be him and Adam then first team.
Yeah. So
are you picking him to win it? Outside of yourself?
He's picking himself
outside
to win.
of yourself, are you picking them to win it?
No, I mean, Johan and Steven are front runners for sure. I mean, but I'm not saying that Tomas and I have a great chance, but who really theoretically picked Juan and I to win Philly? That's sports, right? You just never know what's going to happen. It was the same last year at Nationals, right? They were the clear-cut favorites, and Mick and Sven won it. So it was pretty cool. I was actually, I finally watched the finals today. I had some free time, and I guess Graham McNerney was texting with Fischel or whatever, and they were just talking about like how deep the game is. And it's so true. Like you look at just the rankings, like guys in the top 30, like there's a lot of really good paddle players on the men's side. And I'm not saying, you know, a team in the 20s or 30s is going to win it, but I think that's just a testament that it's not guaranteed for Johan and Steven to win it. But they're clearly the favorites.
You're saying me and Tyler in the 70s don't stand a chance? That's fair.
Depends how much money you guys are going to pay.
It's a fair it's a fair point. Thank you.
So on a related note, what two players would you like to see teamed up that aren't already a consistent team? Could be past or present, although obviously your knowledge is more recent.
All right, you guys are gonna like this one. Because I've listened to the podcast before, and I was like, all right.
Except the Doug Jones episode.
All the time.
Except the Doug Jones episode, obviously.
Because I got to experience both. Playing with and against this year. A Juan Araya, Jay Woldenberg team.
Oh, yes.
How unbelievable would that be?
I'm not sure that Jay gets out of that one alive.
That would be awesome. They wouldn't say a word to each other. Best team ever.
Could you imagine, you know, Jay's over there hitting his serve against the screen. Juan just like, what is this guy doing? Like,
what the fuck, Jay? What the fuck, Jay?
Juan rips the paddle out of his hand as he's doing it.
I would pay really good money to watch them play together.
Let's put that together.
That'd be something. Maybe in Chicago, the Thursday before Nationals, that might have to come together.
Yeah. Rumor has it they're on the same Baird Cup team.
Yeah.
There you go. Speaking of that, so obviously a new format this year for Baird Cup. We're tearing up the script here, but what team are you on? Do you know what the deal is? Who you're playing with that, or who's on your team and everything?
We're team Cincinnati. So it's
nice. Very original.
Me, Will Lofgren, Hirsch, Wagner, Rashid, and then I guess we got to bring Tomas on the team too. So part Philly as well. It's like our little brother that we brought along.
Nice.
That's Maddox's little brother.
Absolutely. And so how does it structure? Like, do you know who you're going to be playing already, or because you're in a group against other people, right? Like it's a smaller group. It's not
of similar PTI. They'll match everything up based on PTI.
Yeah. No, they haven't come out with the groupings yet or who's playing what, but
from what you know about that, are you excited about that? I mean, is that more interesting than previous formats?
To be quite honest, I'm not really too particular on it. I enjoyed last year. So I didn't make the international versus US competition, but I played in, you know, the B outing, and we had a great time, got some matches in, had dinner and beers with the guys on our team. So like our team was the Midwest guys. So it was good hanging out with them. This year it's going to be kind of the same thing. I think really the goal of it is just to get matches in, right? Just to get ready.
Right.
So
Yeah, just have
at
some
the end of
fun.
the day, like, I just don't know why so many guys like, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. Like, well, I'm good with changing it up every year if we want to stay in this format, but if we get some matches in, if we get ready, and if some guys don't want to play because they either want to conserve their body or they just think the format's stupid, like, hey, that's their decision. Ain't nothing to it.
Oh, I think Eric is bucking to be president of the players committee for next year.
I
I like
like
it.
it.
Ah,
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
You're in.
boy.
You're in.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
Randy's already trying to get Tomas and I to do it, so
Hey,
we'll see.
So Eric, are you a foot faulter or do you just lie about it?
I've never been called foot fault in my life in tennis.
Oh, okay.
or
So, all right.
Boy.
So we get it. You lie about it. That's fine. Um, and I think you mentioned it earlier, but would you call somebody out if they're foot faulting in a match?
how bad we're talking here.
Yeah.
Uh,
What rules do you not want to enforce? I mean, how far is the ball going to be out and call it in?
I'll give you someone left-handed and over 6 foot tall, and they're still foot folding by like a foot.
Oh, that's easy.
You got to do so.
That's
Doug
30.
Jones-
That's 30
so-
centimeters for you Canadian.
I'll do what Doug Jones does. He doesn't take the point. He catches the ball, throws it at his opponent, and says, "Hey, how about we try that again?"
I like that. That's the perfect way to handle that.
That's equally demoralizing, I think.
Yes.
right.
You're not taking the point. You're setting your present known with calling them out on it.
I like that one. All right. Since you've played maybe more tournaments than anybody in the country this past year, possibly, right? You and Tomas, I think. Maybe not to-
Dan Hansen would have a word with you.
Oh yeah,
Hansen.
yeah. It's good call. The three of you guys.
Andrew Ong,
Might be.
Yeah.
Mitch
you know,
Granger.
It's interesting.
There's a
'cause all
group of
these-
you young.
It's all the young
guys are-
guys.
all the young unmarried guys. That's interesting. It's
Yeah.
it's funny. So I think maybe when Eric's married, that might he might
It might
fall off
change.
that
He's going to
list,
play
yeah.
He's going to
That's
play
right.
3 tournaments next year.
I'm gonna be
So,
limited to the Cincinnati, Columbus, Indy, Louisville.
Yeah, that's
schedule.
it. That's it.
So with all that knowledge, what's the best hut in the country?
Oh, Hyde Park. Come on.
It's a good one.
No-brainer.
It's nice. It's quaint.
Nice.
No, but in all honesty, Knollwood.
That's my favorite.
Knollwood.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's my favorite. Good call.
Knollwood in Lake, what is that, Lake Bluff or Lake Forest? I think it's Lake Bluff, right?
It's kind of right in
Outside of Chicago.
yes,
Yes,
way up
let's leave it there.
near
Interesting.
Milwaukee.
Better
Yeah.
than Exmoor. Better than Exmoor?
So Mitch and I were talking about this in because Mitch we're he's engaged as well. So we're talking about being engaged and all that fun stuff. So him and Spencer, they're looking at potentially doing their wedding there at Exmoor. I was like, oh, you guys gotta have like an after party in the paddle hut. And he's like, yeah, we're kind of looking at that, and I think that'd be pretty sweet.
You can go drunk curling.
It is a good setup too, but I think
It's a sports bar though. Knollwood's awesome.
with the bar and the restaurant. Oh,
And they got the big badass like elk head above the fireplace as you walk in. I think
cool.
the
So-
viewing's perfect.
I'll say this, where they missed out on one thing though. Between courts 2 and 3, build a little bit more space so you could have like a deck patio.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have like some sort of outside viewing.
Yep.
But other than that, like inside the hut, oh my goodness, it's fantastic.
Hey, quick plug. They're the host site for men's team nationals this year.
Oh,
First
are they?
weekend in April. Yeah, first weekend in April.
Nice. All
There
right.
you go.
Who's your favorite commentator on the live streams? It doesn't have to be APTA. You could be Pro Flight or I'm sure you don't watch the Chicago live streams
No,
on a
yeah.
weekly basis.
No, what
Sure.
are the guys that they did my match in Cleveland? Ricky and what are their names?
Ricky.
Not Ricky. There's 2 guys that they usually do. Who are the commentators for Cleveland this last year?
Cleveland. Jeez.
With
I
it was
could've-
Chicago, right? It was
I
Chicago.
could have swore
guys.
they're Chicago guys.
Yeah. Is it
What are their names?
was it Albrecht? Sean? No, couldn't have been Sean.
No one has ever said Sean Albrecht is a good commentator.
That's what I
Nice
was-
guy.
That's what I was
no.
thinking.
It wasn't Mikey Riley, was it?
Was it Mike?
Mike's an awesome commentator. I like Mikey Riley.
They did a really good job.
Well, let's leave it as the nameless people that did Eric's match in Cleveland.
Just say it's Mike
Go there.
Riley. Let's
Go
give
there.
Mike Riley.
There's
the
Mike
credit.
Riley.
Mike
Uh,
Riley, best commentator in the game.
There we go.
Innis does a great job.
Yep.
And then Fischel, I'll say this about Fischel. I do think he does a really good job. I actually really appreciate how invested he is in paddle.
Yeah.
I know he can get on to some guys, but for how much the game means to us and everyone that plays, at least we have our commentators like really invested in it.
Mhm.
Right? It wouldn't be a good look if we're having our live stream and there's just some Joe Schmo that doesn't know anything about
Ara?
what's going.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta watch more Pro Flight.
That's right.
Hey, you were playing with one this weekend. Mark wasn't going to say anything about your team. He's like chief of the Wanaraya
That's
fan
right.
club. But no,
That's
he is a good commentator. He's a legend.
All right. Sadly, I think I know the answer to this one. Choice of 72 holes of golf for a paddle tournament. What are you going to play?
All right, which tournament and where for golf? Those are two big questions.
The best possible choice for either of those. How's that for you?
Ooh, I think
Wow.
72 holes is too much for
Yeah.
how much I love to golf.
It's funny. I think
It's too
12
much.
is too much.
It's 9.
Nine
Let's do
holes.
four nines.
Yeah. Or 1 9 and call it a day.
Um,
All right. So based on that, then where's your favorite course?
that
Other
I've
than-
played
other
or
than your
I
own
would like
club.
to go play. I mean,
You know,
Dream course. Where you want to
Augusta National. for
Augusta,
sure.
right? Yeah.
nice.
Right.
All right.
But I'll say this, playing short hills for the first time this year, that was awesome. I mean, even though Tomas and I lost, we had such a good time. I mean, you can tell the people of Jersey paddle, they really care about it. They really get into it. The support, like it was unbelievable. I mean, everything about it was top notch. So
Did you have a Taylor sandwich?
Taylor Ham.
Taylor
back
Ham.
a back bacon sandwich.
Yeah. Did you have one?
Yeah, it's Canadian bacon. Isn't that what that is?
Well, because I was listening to the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Was it with Lubau and you guys were talking?
Yeah.
I looked it up. I was like, is this back bacon? Like what?
Yeah, it's Canadian bacon, I think.
Just stealing
You guys
Canadian
just
food
don't
now.
understand. You don't
Yeah.
understand.
It's
All right.
Canadian bacon.
But
All right.
hey, all right.
Uh,
I had the bagels were fantastic though. I'll
They're
say that.
amazing, right? They're amazing.
All right. Last question to get you out of here. You won with Wanaraya this weekend. Great playing. Why couldn't you win with Tyler Owens? What was the issue?
It needed to be warmer out that day at Nationals. It was. what
Wait,
was
when
it,
did you play?
80
When did you play with
degrees?
Tyler?
Nationals last year.
You played with Tyler last year?
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Nice.
Tyler is
All right.
majorly downgraded for Nationals this year.
That's interesting. I guess I
Uh,
remember that. Good call.
Was he playing with you, Ben?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Tyler's such a good dude though. We had a
He's
blast.
awesome, isn't he?
I think I broke his heart when he was like, "Hey, so what tournaments do you want to play next year?"
Yeah. You're like, no, that's it. We're one and done. I move in on
I'm
up.
sorry. Tyler, if you're listening to this, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's your fault that Tyler had to play with me this year.
All right.
well.
Hey,
All right,
it's,
let's get him out of here.
This has been fun. It's awfully late now on a Monday night, and we really appreciate Eric you being on. And first and foremost, congratulations. Nice win this weekend. Great heading into Nationals. Obviously, best of luck for you and Tomas and Nationals. And it's awesome to have you on the scene as a new young player who's taking care of business. It's really fun to watch you. So appreciate you being out there. Best of luck in nationals, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Eric.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
We'll get out of here.
All right, that's the show for today. Really happy to have Eric West on, who with Wanneraya was the winner of the Philly Open this past weekend. Last tournament of the year before Nationals, which is coming up shortly in Chicago. Big weekend for tournaments. We had Louisville, we had Denver, and we had Philly this weekend. So good way to end the season. All kinds of good tournaments. If you're a paddle player, regular draws, bead draws, men's, women's, lots of chances to go neat places and play some paddles. So hope everyone is getting ready for Nationals. It's gonna be a lot of live streaming. It'll be fun. And if you can have a chance to make it to Chicago to come watch it, if you're not playing, please do. You'll have a great time and see some fantastic paddles. So we will talk to you soon.